married 54 years, same house for 52 years, here at the law firm 50 years. Some people would say I'm stale. I like to think I'm stable, but some people would say stale. But my children and my son-in-laws and the grandchildren could be gigantic pleasure. Because of the hour of the day, they'll understand. I won't do a chapter and verse and embarrass them, although you find somebody for Amy or something over here, she can always find a nice statement.
I'm set. I'm all good.
Charlie, believe it or not, would anybody like to be 19 and a sophomore at Tulane and look like Charlie? I want to give 2 secrets of success. I'm trying to figure out what I would say today. And 2 secrets of success for everybody who's starting down the road to 50 years. And the first one is, once you get past the supportiveness of your own family, once we go past it, is the first secret of success is the staff. Always be nice to the staff. Always understand the staff. Pat Perino is here with her husband Otts. Patty and I started the first day together. I didn't know anything. She didn't know anything. We had a common bond. We didn't know anything. And I don't know, about 10 years into the job, she said she was getting married. This is a true story. I made her sign a contract that she couldn't have children for 3 years.
Limitations has run.
On the 3rd year, she quit. She said, "I'm pregnant." So a wonderful girl. But remember Pat. Just remember Pat. Just remember Pat. Alma Lee came to work for me. She was just a charming girl. I used the same intercom then that I use now. Alma Lee! The machine doesn't work. We didn't have machines. So it was years, and Linda always thought it was Alma Lee Jones. But it was Alma Lee was her last name. But for years here, she was just Alma Lee. Alma Lee passed away in a difficult accident. And then Pat Jones showed up in my life for another 15 years or 14 years. The only problem with Pat Jones is, at the end of the day, or during like 3 o'clock of the day, she'd start crying. She didn't do anything, I swear to God. In the morning, we'd solve the problems about her son. It always made her crazy, but at 3 o'clock, "Why are you crying?" I can't get the work done today." "Christ, it's only my letters to the fraternity brothers. Go home." She would cry every day. She couldn't get all the work done that day. So that finally, Ruth Fry. We all love Ruth Fry. She pulled a terrible trick on me one day. She came in one day and she said, "Howard, you can't stand in the way of Pat Jones. We could promote her to a better job. Would you please let us promote her?" I said, "On one condition. You got to get me really somebody terrific. So Ruth gave me the wink and blink. And then I had 3 secretaries in a month and a half. One of them fired me. They fired me. And I love them, they fired me. So finally I went to Ruth. I said, "Ruth, you didn't live up to your half of the bargain." She said, "Listen, I give you Patty Herbert. Patty hailed in those days." I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." So in the 50 years I've been here, Pat, 14, 15 years, Alma Lee, 5, Pat Jones, another Pat for 15, and Patty Herbert, 15 years. And that's part of the secret of success. But besides that, when I think about it, I think of people like Ruth Fry, Ricky Reed, who's always been wonderful with me, Greg Huff, Barbara Hall, not that, putting aside just the other practice assistants. And there's one more person I have to mention. One more. have here. Most of the older people know that Carly and I, we've been friends for a long time. I'm talking to her. Linda gets off the elevator, and Linda sees me. She's coming over, and before I can introduce anybody, Carlene says, "Hi, Linda. I'm his office wife." 50 years down the tube. Just one other thing about people and so forth. The paralegals and paraprofessional staff we have, they've saved my life 1,000,001 times, whether it's Amy or Diane or Ann or Melinda and even Paul Stump on the next floor. When I really get in trouble and I really can't figure out what the hell to do, I go see Paul and he gets an answer for everything. So thank you all. The second, wait a second here. Oh, the one last thing I can tell you about all the staff people who've ever worked for me. They all know how to raise money. They all know how to have a college fraternity reunion. They all know how to have a high school class reunion. They all know how to write the Cousins Club newsletter. And they can make great travel arrangements. Thank you. The second thing to do, and I'm very serious about this, is that it's harder today than my day, but make good friends out of our clients. Make them your friends. True, from a business point of view, it's very hard for a client who's your dear friend to fire you when something goes wrong. Believe me, Adam Zarin came into my office the other day. It was a normal Zarin conversation. I mean, he had a problem with the client. I'm telling you. Listen to the rest of the speech. So first and foremost, clients who are your friend, but let me tell you something. It's just wonderful. I'm looking at my notes for the right words. It's enlightening. It changes your whole life. It exposes you to something different. It makes the practice of law why you want to come to work every day. Now I know many of you in the current generation, you get stuck dealing with the general counsel. You get stuck dealing with a vice president at a certain level. But look on them as your client. Make him your social friend. There were so many of them that came that lived in our houses, not just for the bar mitzvahs, the bas mitzvahs, and the confirmation or whatever it is you have, but we entertained them at home, and many times they were 10, 15 years our senior.
In our little kitchen.
3 times we started to remodel the kitchen. But when I think about it, one more second, I mean, classic. I'm going to tell you, classic things come to mind. Why I tell everybody Monday is my best day of the week. I get to come back to work. I'm sorry. It just adds enjoyment and spice to your life. Let me tell you about Walter Johnston. Walter Johnston, 35, 40 years. I started with him, and I finished with Walter, and he sold his business for a fortune, and he died penniless and with cancer, but it was just, I went to all of his weddings, went in between weddings, he would bring the Playboy bunnies out to my house. One day I wasn't there, the girls were there. He came up and he said, Walter was here, he had this young, attractive girl. I said, no, and I called up Walter. What were you? Oh, it was a Playboy bunny. One time on one of the wives, I mean, when I talk about a different experience, I'll get to some better ones, but one time, he called me up on a Sunday, and he said, I need some help. What happened? I got so goddamn mad at her. I walked out, but I left all my money and credit cards at home. Can you meet me at the Hilton Hotel? I met him at the Hilton Hotel. I gave him whatever, $300 cash I had in my credit cards for a couple of days. So we could get. I mean, when I tell you about some of these people and the difference in your life, besides they don't ever fire you, and things always went wrong. John Campbell from Mannington Mills. God. When he went to Houston, to DeBakey, to do the heart operation in the 70s. I mean, I was the first non-family person. He wanted to show his scars to me, and he was thankful. But I went to every one of his children's weddings. He came to all of our weddings. When my father died, and he came down from Salem, New Jersey, there he is in the third row. In the third row of the funeral parlor. Yeah, and let me tell you something. When we, in the old days, when we used to change labor lawyers every 2 years, somebody would come and go, and I would say to John, I said, John, I got a good replacement, don't worry about it. He says, okay, don't worry about it. Weinberg and Green, you're my lawyers. What's the difference? Because we were pals. And the last one, I'll tell one more story, because he would hate if I told this story. One of our regular clients, I'll leave his name so nobody knows who he is. One of our regular clients who I think he enjoys my legal work that I do represent him well over the years here at the firm. He let me take his son to Switzerland to open up some new bank accounts and move the stuff around in the safe deposit. He paid us. He paid us for me to do that. I mean, oh my God. So all I say to you is, you want to really enjoy this place, make your friends your clients. Make your clients your friends, and you'll enjoy it. It's been wonderful.